everybody. Cliff Jones with the ThinkFISH Reef. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at ThinkFISH. At ThinkFISH, we realize funding is hard, so is finding customers. And today's conversation is with Adam Boggs, who's the co-founder of a company based in Southern California called Meahana. Adam, how are you today? Well,
good,
welcome,
good.
Welcome to the ThinkFISH Reef.
Thank you for having me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, over the course of the next 12 minutes or so, you're going to hear a conversation between Adam and me about Adam's company. Adam's in startup mode. Adam is a client of ThinkFISH. At ThinkFISH, what we do is we charge a flat monthly fee to help founders, real estate principals, private equity funds, companies raise capital and find customers. So Adam, tell us a little bit about Meahana, your startup journey, and where you are in that process, please.
Yeah, sure. And thanks for giving me the opportunity also to share maybe a quick demo that'll unpack that in more detail. So very quick context, Adam Boggs here in Los Angeles. For 13 years, I was a consultant at a company called BTS, which focused on sort of the people side of strategy execution. We would do transformation work, executive working sessions, big sales kickoff events, anytime you had a sort of a workshop or a meeting or a training. Some of those meetings were the big events, right? Where it was like a go, no-go decision. People were flying in from all over the country. It was a big budget thing that had to get made. And for us as consultants, that was like a Thursday, right? It was a kind of a way that we would just operate and do our job. One of the challenges that we saw was that the tools that people use to do brainstorming were analog devices like a picture of a pen and a whiteboard or a digital whiteboard. And really good consultants, we would start to think about how do I sort of storyboard or outline sort of a step-by-step process to do ideation, right? To make decisions fast together as a team, to get really good alignment, to make sure that you hear every voice. And so Meahana was kind of born from this sort of DIY consulting belief that anybody can facilitate, anybody can run a great workshop if they have access to a piece of software that can sort of help build that storyline for them. And the reality is that consultants do this because they have a consulting mindset and they've done it forever. But a lot of our customers are just everyday, business leaders out there that are running workshops for the first time and maybe don't have access to the same methodology. And Cliff, if it's okay, I'll share with you kind of how this thing works, but let's keep it informal. Let me know if there's other questions.
I'm just curious at this stage, or anybody watching, because it could be a prospective investor, because as we made clear at the beginning, you're in startup mode. You got all your ducks in a row. You have your product live, you have customers, you have some revenue, correct?
Yes, we do.
Right. So if you're watching this video, this conversation, and the product appeals to you from an investment standpoint or from a user standpoint, feel free to reach out to Adam. You can also reach us at thinkfish.co. So let's walk through the platform and kind of approach it. You're going to approach it from a use case scenario, or
I am. Yeah, I'll kind of approach it from a general use case, so you and I can be interactive on this.
Yeah.
So in general, when you would want to run a workshop, meeting, or a training situation where you're trying to make decisions, this could be a mission critical decision, or it could be something around like, what are we going to plan for our summer vacation, Cliff? You're generally going to start off with some kind of an ideation exercise where you want to hear from lots of folks. The difference between us and maybe a traditional whiteboard is all of this information is done from your phone, which actually allows the technology to feel somewhat invisible. Sometimes it's just a very simple, regular brainstorm. Sometimes you're doing brainstorms by categories. You might want to see complex brainstorms. For those of you who've seen sort of mind maps that are out there, we're going to start with one question and ask sort of what if from there. And then more importantly, that information's not just lost on a whiteboard. It's sort of zapped back to your phone, and you'll see, and now we can do something with it. We can place it into categories. We can do dot voting on it. We can explore it across a new set of dimensions. For those of you in the consulting world, we can say all of that information, we can plot it into a 2x2 and sort of take the top voted items and do something with that. And so the sort of notes that you have on your new instrument allow you to play a set of chord progressions and a set of notes in any order that you want. So the creativity is really up to the user. When we start to pull all of those different activities together, we call them sessions, right? And a session might be something that's based upon a particular outcome, like you're prioritizing features on a roadmap, you're putting together new ideas for an innovation summit. And to show you one, I've just put together kind of a generic set of activities. This one we call the double diamond, Cliff. And then this one, we're going to do a 4 set of activities. We're going to start off with doing a brainstorm. where we're going to just ideate on some topic area. We're going to vote that into a smaller set of items. Then we're going to explore that and put together kind of a quick action plan. And so this will happen in real time. And we'll call the session code Cliff. And I won't customize any of this stuff. Maybe I'll just drag a quick picture for our lobby here. And I had one ready to roll here for us. There it is.
Uh-oh.
And you might recognize this guy here.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be for us. And we'll go ahead and launch this thing up. And do you have your phone on you, by the way?
I do.
And it'll be interesting because if you're recording this, anybody who's going to be watching this later, we'll leave it open live. We can have other items coming into this. All right, so here's our lobby entrance. If you just scan this QR code, type in any name for your first name or last name, and then the session code is your name, with small case Cliff.
Pretty slick.
All right. And as you're going into the session, I can see that Adam's in the session. So there's Cliff on the back end, and anybody else who is following along will be seeing that. We'll go ahead and go into our first session. I'll open up input, and it's going to ask us to think about ideas. So let's just go ahead and do this based upon ideas, Cliff, for your summer vacation, which just could be going on trips, could be activities that you're doing. What comes to mind? Just go ahead and enter. We're looking for quantity over quality on here.
Well, I live in Arizona, so getting the hell out of the desert would be. How about Telluride, Colorado? That's one of our.
There you go. Go ahead and put it in. I'll drop it in for you if you want.
No.
But feel free to enter. Go skiing, and I don't know. Let's go. Where would you go skiing in South America, right?
Well, yeah. Well, hey, Argentina wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, there you go. So as you can see on our side, we're just entering new ideas here. I can see Argentina on the back side. I can put numbers. I can show names, right? So it doesn't have to be so anonymous. If I want to, I can actually sort of take some of these items that look the same and stack them on top of each other. We can kind of cleanse the data. And there's some AI tools that we're building that will do that obviously for you. More importantly, we're going to take all of that information, and like magic, we're going to zap that to your phone. So now we've got all of those items. And I took the 4, and we're going to give you 5 dots, and we'll go ahead and sort those in real time. And so you can kind of allocate your dots. I see going skiing in South America is kind of a prideful winner, but maybe biking as well. We'll go ahead and take those to our next round here, and open up some input, and we'll see the going skiing in South America. What would be sort of the benefits, right, of us doing that, and what would need to be true? And you just select on your side, pick one of the items, pick one of the columns. This is where the sort of meat of the conversation. Happy wife. Does she come with you, or she?
Oh yeah, I don't leave home without her.
Yeah. So we can always sort of spotlight individual inputs, and this really slows down the conversation, especially if you have a lot of individuals that are putting in dialogue at the same time. Maybe the last thing on this, I know I'm going quickly, is to put this into an action plan. So we've talked about those 4 dimensions, right, of benefits and what needs to be true against 2 things. So now we're asking people to pick one final one and put an experiment or an action plan. Maybe it's going to be, I'm going to, for biking, I'll say start my training. And I'll even put a date in there when we're going to start to do that by, give it a couple of weeks from now. Doing this, all of this data that you're capturing now it's all structured data. Right now, it's a CSV that you can stick into any project management software. If it goes into your Trello or into Jira, it can go into your calendar, right? So what we've done is we've just sort of gamified the process with a larger group of people of what are all the things that we could be doing this summer. Let's narrow that down to the things that the group thinks are most important. Let's explore those now, have a broader conversation on the narrowed down list, and then finally put together kind of an action plan against that, right? And so that's the quick demo for anyone who's interested. Obviously, just go to our website, meahana.io, and you can actually sign up for a free trial right now that has access to a lot of these different features.
That's slick because we've met before. You've walked me through the platform.
Yeah.
But that's a whole new level of
Sure.
convenience, right? And actively engaging me. Good thing I could pull that off with my phone.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
where are you in your capital raise?
So we started working with you guys a couple of, I guess about eight weeks ago now. So we're still early days, I would say.
Yeah.
For anyone who's not worked with this team yet, it is a little bit of a warm-up period on some domains and stuff. So we were setting all that up, Cliff. But we're looking to raise $1.5 million to get us through from where we're at now to a kind of a Series A. And we're going to be, still looking for that over the next 6 months or so. The team has been also plotting out different scenarios for, if investment doesn't come up or if it's slower than we want, sort of how do we bootstrap ourselves for longer. So the good news is the product that you saw is sort of ready to go enterprise level. All of our revenue so far, which is about $32,000 now this quarter, has been coming in from existing professional services customers. And we'll continue to double down on that. We've scaled back the spend that we've been doing in the marketplace, just to preserve cash and make sure that we're actually going to be profitable in a couple of months based upon our latest spend numbers. We're not paying ourselves any money yet, so we're just trying to make the top line bigger than the bottom line going out.
What's your biggest challenge so far? If you're not raising capital, or what are you encountering? And
Sure.
what would you suggest to other startup founders based on your lessons learned?
It's a great question. I would say I have 2 lessons that I've learned. The first one we've steered around now, and that was focus. When you have a platform like you just did, you can plot out your summer vacation, or you can plot out your go-no-go decisions on huge budget planning meetings. And so the reality is that the use cases are pretty broad, which means you start selling it to anybody who has an interesting pulse to you at the time. And that included us going after HR teams, DEI leaders, places where frankly it was a novelty. It wasn't a necessity. And so the advice that I was given was that, what if I could tell you that you could sell anything to anyone online at any point in the day? And I would say, great, that sounds awesome. And the guy says, what would you start with? He says, books. I would start with books, And so consulting audiences, strategic consultants are kind of our books right now. And so we spend a lot of time servicing customers that frankly they don't see this as a huge pain solving thing, and they see it as a cool factor, which is interesting. But right now our focus is more on consulting audiences that run these meetings and don't have a better way to do it. So that's number one, is just that focus. The second part is related to that. Consulting audiences are hard to sell to. As a former consultant myself, I'm busy. I don't go to user conferences. I'm not that active on LinkedIn. I don't really know who the buyer is. And so trying to get mind share with them is quite difficult. When we have had the opportunity to do demos and trials with them, obviously we're hitting the mark. But getting access, I would say, to them is challenging. And that's maybe our biggest challenge right now. Is the product is great if they can take a look at it, but they have to see that there's a pain that this solves that they may or may not be aware of right now.
Okay, so to that point, the biggest pain or problem you solve for that consultant, super user, someone who finds high value in it, what is that exactly?
I would say making decisions faster, right? Getting better, faster, more informed decisions among an audience of people, and making sure that people are actually aligned. The worst thing that happens is in a change and transformation meeting where 20% of the audience just never spoke up and is silently in disagreement, but you never know about it, right? Because you asked for an open brainstorm and they were quiet in the room. So you saw that everybody gets to contribute. So that's a big pain. The second one is actually data capture. So in a lot of these workshops or trainings or meetings that you do, there's posters of sticky notes and everyone feels like they did a lot of work, right? And then afterwards, somebody has to go take pictures of those sticky notes or download a CSV of a digital whiteboard, and there's no real structured data that can be used in any kind of a useful way afterwards. So it's both the type of decisions that you're able to make and bringing everybody along, and then actually tracking the data from the session and making sure that people are accountable. I think the general alternative is some people are saying, well, we need less meetings today, Cliff. Meetings are unproductive. There was like a $37 billion of unproductive meeting time. I would argue we don't need less meetings, we need better meetings, right? And better meetings mean that people are running through a structured process. It's not just let's go top of mind through somebody's mental agenda, right? And then there's real data and there's real action points coming in afterwards. And that's a more professional way to run a business. And obviously, it's a habit loop that we have to sort of start for people on that.
So basically what you're saying is you save time and money for people who are holding meetings, conferences. They need consensus input.
Yes.
They need to quickly aggregate and make sense of that data for decision making.
Yeah, definitely save time and money. The challenge with that point is that everyone who builds an AI tool today, I would argue that AI is going to continue to replace and automate routine human tasks. AI is not very good at being creative and innovative and collaborative, right? So the future of knowledge workers are going to get displaced unless they're creative, innovative, or innovative or automated. And so the tools for AI right now are meeting summaries, right? So like you and I can have an AI tool right now that's going to summarize everything that we talked about. But it's not going to summarize all the essence of what this meeting was. It's not going to help us actually make decisions together. It's not going to help us be creative. You need a tool that actually allows new ideas to stimulate other ideas. And so there's this collective intelligence that happens within a group of people in a live situation. That sort of untapped, lightning in a bottle that you can capture with a tool like Meahana. So it's not just about time and money. It's actually about making better decisions, coming up with new ideas that maybe you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And that's a lot of the cool feedback that we've gotten from some customers. Is like we were planning hurricane disaster recovery efforts on the Eastern Seaboard with NOAA, and we came up with some wild ideas because we were together, right? It wasn't asynchronous work that was done in a chat room. It was live, and there's something to be said about live collaboration, that harmony that happens between humans. Meta, but that's our mission and that's our belief.
Well, it's a good belief, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in or you've been watching for a while, we've been talking with Adam Boggs, co-founder of Meahana. I pronounced that correctly? Yeah, Meahana. Yeah. And Adam, thank you for the walkthrough of the product, the experience. Thank you for being a client of ThinkFISH.
Sure.
And if in closing, is there a way you'd like to invite viewers to follow up with you either as a customer or investor?
Customer or an investor, I'll take either one. So, Meahana.io, Meahana.io is our website. And if you click there, there's a whole bunch of buttons to try for free and get started. I would invite anyone who even wants to be an investor to do that. You'll get a sense for what this platform is much faster than clicking through all of the domains and watching videos and seeing the website play together. Obviously, from an investor perspective, there's also a contact us page that you can get in touch with me directly. I'm also pretty active on LinkedIn and just finished a book called The Business Artist. If anyone's also interested in looking at business through the lens of an artist, that sort of all plays together to the central ethos of creating creative people.
Well, Adam, thank you for being with us today on the ThinkFISH Reef conversation that we've had. Very grateful, and let's keep looking to grow your company. You've got a great start. So thanks again for being with us today.